Ladies and gentlemen, there is a truth as old as time itself, a truth that resonates in the beating heart of the universe and whispers to every soul: God's love is boundless and His grace is infinite. In a world brimming with chaos and imperfection, one might ask, what kind of love could encompass all of this? It is not a love we see in fleeting gestures or human emotions, limited by conditions or circumstances. God's love is a love that knows no boundaries, no prerequisites. It is the kind of love that welcomes the prodigal, heals the broken, and seeks the lost. It is a love that reaches into the darkest corners of existence, saying, "You are mine, and you are cherished." Yet, love alone is not the entirety of God's gift to us. It is through His grace that we see love in action. Grace is not merely a kind gesture or a second chance. It is the transformative power that takes the weary, the sinful, and the struggling and makes them whole. It is as though a master artist sees a smudged canvas, and instead of discarding it, turns it into a masterpiece. Grace doesn't just overlook our flaws, it reshapes them, teaching us to walk a new path with courage and hope. But perhaps the greatest mystery of God's love and grace is their presence even in suffering. To live is to encounter pain, loss, and doubt. And yet, in these moments of trial, God's love does not vanish. Instead, it takes on a new form: a steady hand, a gentle whisper, a reminder that our suffering is not the end but a chapter in a larger story. Through His grace, even our wounds become sacred, capable of teaching us endurance, compassion, and trust. Friends, God's love and grace are not abstract ideas, they are living realities. They invite us not only to receive but to reflect them in our own lives. If we are loved unconditionally, let us love others with the same depth. If we are recipients of grace, let us be vessels of grace to those around us. For in this divine cycle of love and grace, we find the meaning of life itself, not merely to exist, but to be transformed, to grow, and to give. God's love is a profound and incomprehensible force, one that transcends human understanding and defies the limitations of earthly affection. Unlike the love we often experience in our relationships, which can be conditional and fragile, God's love is entirely unconditional. It does not depend on our actions, our merits, or even our worthiness. It exists simply because He is love, and it is His nature to love. This love is not something that can be earned through good deeds or lost through failure. It is steadfast and unwavering, a divine constant in an ever-changing world. At the core of this unconditional love is a deep, unshakable commitment to humanity. Even when people stray, fall short, or rebel, God's love remains. It is the kind of love that sees beyond our flaws and imperfections, gazing instead at the intrinsic value within each soul. This value is not defined by worldly success, status, or accomplishments, but by the simple fact that we are His creation, made in His image and likeness. God's love affirms our worth not because of what we have done, but because of who we are in Him. This love is also deeply personal. It is not a distant, detached affection for humanity as a whole, but an intimate and individual love for each person. God knows us completely, every thought, fear, and hope. He sees the depths of our hearts, including the parts we hide from others and even from ourselves. Despite knowing us fully, our doubts, mistakes, and weaknesses, He loves us unconditionally. This personal love is a reminder that we are never forgotten or overlooked. In a world that often makes us feel insignificant, God's love tells us that we are seen, known, and cherished. God's unconditional love is not passive. It actively seeks to restore and heal. It is a love that moves toward the broken, the lost, and the weary, extending mercy and compassion. This is the love that welcomes the prodigal son home with open arms, celebrates his return, and restores him to his place in the family. It is a love that does not hold grudges or keep a record of wrongs, but instead forgives freely and fully. This restorative aspect of God's love is a source of immense hope, offering a fresh start, and the assurance that no one is beyond redemption. Moreover, God's love is not reserved for the righteous or the deserving. It is extended to all, regardless of their past or present. It reaches into every corner of the human experience, embracing those who feel unworthy, unloved, or forgotten. This universality of God's love challenges the notion that anyone is beyond His reach. It is an open invitation to come as you are, knowing that His love will meet you there and transform you. God's love is also enduring. It does not waver with time or circumstance. It remains constant through the highs and lows of life, offering a source of stability and reassurance. In moments of doubt, fear, or pain, this love is a reminder that we are never alone and that nothing can separate us from the love of God. Grace is the active expression of God's love, a dynamic force that bridges the gap between humanity's imperfections and God's divine nature. It is more than forgiveness. It is a transformative power that reshapes lives and renews hearts. Grace is not earned or deserved. It is a gift freely given, extended to all who are willing to receive it. It is the manifestation of God's unwavering love, reaching out to humanity in its brokenness and offering redemption, healing, and hope. At its core, grace acknowledges human frailty and the inability to attain perfection through one's own efforts. It does not ignore sin or failure, but meets them with compassion and mercy. Grace does not condone wrongdoing, but it offers a path forward, a way to rise above past mistakes and live in the fullness of God's plan. It provides a way out of the cycle of guilt and shame, inviting individuals to embrace the possibility of renewal. Grace allows people to see themselves not as defined by their failures, but as transformed by God's love and forgiveness. This transformative nature of grace is what makes it so profound. It works in the depths of the human soul, not merely to cover sin, but to change hearts. Grace empowers individuals to grow, to become more than they thought possible, and to reflect the character of God in their lives. It takes the burden of striving for unattainable perfection and replaces it with the joy of living in alignment with God's purpose. Grace enables people to move forward in confidence, knowing that they are not defined by their weaknesses but by the strength and love of the One who extends grace. Grace is also a great equalizer. It does not discriminate based on status, wealth, or past deeds. It is available to all, regardless of their background or circumstances. Whether one is a lifelong believer or someone seeking hope after years of wandering, grace is extended with the same measure of generosity. This universality of grace reflects the boundless nature of God's love and serves as a reminder that no one is beyond redemption. Grace levels the playing field, reminding humanity that all stand in need of God's mercy and all are equally invited to partake in it. Grace is not only a personal experience but also a calling. Those who receive grace are invited to extend it to others, becoming instruments of God's love in the world. Grace transforms relationships, teaching forgiveness and reconciliation, and breaking down barriers of resentment and division. It challenges individuals to move beyond selfishness and pride, encouraging acts of kindness, generosity, and humility. Grace flows outward, creating a ripple effect that touches lives and communities. Ultimately, grace is a testament to the depth of God's love and the lengths to which He is willing to go to restore and uplift humanity. It is a gift that transforms not only individuals but also the world, offering hope, renewal, and a glimpse of the divine. The coexistence of God's love with human suffering is a profound and often challenging mystery, yet it is one that reveals the depth and purpose of divine compassion. Suffering is an inevitable part of the human experience, and it can lead to questions about the presence and nature of God's love. However, far from being absent in times of pain, God's love is often most present and transformative in moments of struggle. It is not a love that always removes hardship, but one that provides strength, hope, and meaning within it. God's love does not promise a life free of suffering, but offers the assurance that suffering is not without purpose. In a broken world, pain and difficulty are unavoidable, yet God's love works through these experiences to bring growth and transformation. Hardships often reveal the depth of human dependence on God, stripping away illusions of self-sufficiency and drawing individuals closer to their Creator. It is in these moments of vulnerability that God's love becomes a source of strength, guiding and sustaining through the darkest valleys. This love is not passive, it is active and intentional, meeting people where they are in their pain. God's love does not shy away from suffering but enters into it fully. It is a love that weeps with the grieving, comforts the weary, and carries the burdens of the brokenhearted. Through this compassionate presence, God's love provides solace and reminds humanity that they are not alone, even in their most isolated moments. This aspect of God's love is a reminder that suffering does not separate people from Him, but instead can become a pathway to deeper intimacy with Him. Moreover, God's love transforms suffering into an instrument of growth and redemption. While the pain itself is not good, God's love has the power to bring good out of even the most challenging circumstances. Suffering can teach lessons of endurance, empathy, and faith, shaping individuals into more compassionate and resilient beings. It is through the refining fire of trials that God's love molds character and builds a deeper trust in His plan. This transformation does not erase the pain but gives it meaning, allowing it to contribute to a larger narrative of hope and renewal. God's love also offers the promise of ultimate redemption and restoration. Suffering in this life is not the final word. God's love assures that all pain and tears will one day be wiped away, and a new reality of peace and joy will emerge. This hope does not negate the reality of present suffering, but places it within the context of eternity. God's love points to a future where all brokenness is healed and all wrongs are made right, providing a perspective that sustains faith and hope even in the midst of trials. Through suffering, God's love invites individuals into a deeper relationship with Him, one marked by trust, hope, and a greater understanding of His character. It does not eliminate pain but transforms it, offering strength, purpose, and the assurance of His unwavering presence.